You can do the intro, Bree.
Welcome back to the M3 podcast.
I think she's been waiting since the day she started here to do that.
No, I'm excited to be podcasting again.
I know. Today we have a little bit different scenery. We have a short week with Thanksgiving.
So we're on the short bus.
Yep. So we're on the short bus for the short week.
The struggle bus.
Yep. So that's what it's turned into. I mean, the four verts were running down there for a little bit. And,
yeah, we're 8 weeks out. So.
Yeah, you guys kind of fell off the train. Yeah. And so decided to hit the M3 podcast this week in the bus with little different faces on too. So Darby, Emma, Bree, all from the MMG squad. So today I want to go over just kind of some of the stuff that's happening at MMG and some of the struggles that we've had, some of the wins that we've had. And I think a lot of times from the outside world, people see us on Instagram. They see a lot of great things happening. But there's a lot of hard things that go on behind the scenes too. And it's not always easy. And I know from the outside it looks easy sometimes, most of the time.
Yeah.
But it's a lot. 2024 has been a year with the most struggles that we've had. But I also feel the best I ever have about the group of people that are around me. So as we progress forward with the new location, we are going to start podcasting a lot more, and it'll be a lot more of people inside the office and building more personal brands with it. So, but I know Bree doesn't like the serious side of it.
Yeah.
But let's...
Jesus.
Yeah. Bree has her emo fit on today.
I got the teenage boy fit on.
Yeah.
Sing it.
No.
Darby sings it.
Where are you? And I'm so sorry.
Yes. Yep.
But
We're Beanie Bros. Me and Emma are Beanie Bros.
it seems like they're so far away from each other on that couch over there. Yeah. But I want to kind of discuss this year as a whole, kind of the movement you guys have seen internally, Moss Marketing Group wise. Because I think, once again, most of the time everyone's seen it from the external position and the different things that we've taken on and the movement that you guys have seen. And I think a lot of times it's always coming from me. And I want some different perspectives on it. So we'll probably start off with Bree, the veteran of the group.
The one thing that sticks out to me is we went from Google Drive to Notion.
That was it.
Wow.
That's what you've taken in 1 year.
That's what,
That's what she's taken away.
Because you remember, I did not like Notion. I was like, you know what?
No,
I don't like this.
I remember January, me being in a meeting, yelling at the whole entire company about using Notion. And it was about to go to fists in this meeting.
It was bad.
Because for 60 days, I've been talking about Notion. And everyone was trying to make it perfect. And everyone was working on a different version of what they thought Notion should look like. And finally, I come in, I'm like, we're starting to use it today. And everyone's like, we're not ready, blah, blah, blah. I was like, I don't give a fuck. I was like, we're starting today. Today we use Notion. Everyone's like, just fired up.
On my first day when I was here, Bree was like, yeah, there's this Notion thing. Like, I don't ever use it. Like, I hate it. And the next week, she's like, I kind of like this. I was like, in 7 days.
I fuck with Notion.
Yeah, I'm like, what? I like it. I like low-key am trying to use it for my personal life.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my gosh, like about to be 24, gonna get my shit together because of this platform.
We're
This
talking
is
to people
great.
from across the country.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those deals that in the front side, Bree is the only one here that experienced Moss Marketing Group without a single software, a single process in place. And it was chaotic. It was the River Market was just yelling around to the next person. So
I will say, I think we were more like, I don't want to say focused because we're focused in here, but I think we get distracted in this building.
So I will say, I think the other building, I don't think people did as much because they knew I could see them everywhere.
Yeah. We all just put our heads down and worked.
Yeah, everyone was like, I know when I left, I had cameras in the place. Like when I left, it just turned into a shit show.
No.
What do you think happens? What do you think happens when we hear that click
That
of the
is
door?
not true.
I know.
The boss is
No,
here.
You come in, you're like, let's do this activity. You're the one that starts.
Oh, I'm all about having a good time. But like work has to get done also. So I look at it as I've never chased a clock, a 9 to 5 clock. I've always looked at it as if you enjoy work, you never chase a clock. And it's if you just get your work done all the time. I would way rather spend an additional hour and then have something in the middle of the day that breaks up my day that I get enjoy. I get a podcast, I get to do talk reviews, I get to do all these different things. It breaks up my day. It's fun. And the crazy thing is this is work for us.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's the thing that a lot of people miss is what we're doing. I get it from older generation a lot of times. Like, we guys are just having fun. You're not really working. I was like, well, we all figured out how to make money and pay our bills having fun. So who's the real winner in this situation?
Yeah. I got friends all the time that text me. They see on Snapchat stuff. They're like, dang, you guys just be chilling at work, huh? I'm like, no, not really. But we do have fun.
Which that's the side that's portrayed to the world all the time. And I mean, sitting at the computers, knocking things out and out, getting content, editing and all that stuff. That's not the cool, fun stuff to put out there. But that's the work that makes the operation go round. And I think that's a lot of marketing agencies are, hey, you said this cubicle, you come in at 9, you leave at 5, this is what you do. And people hate their jobs.
Yeah.
And I had the world that I had a job that I enjoy going to every day. And I wanted this to be different. And that's where I can see energy. The second the energy dips in the office, it's like, I want to do activity. I want to do something that brings energy back.
I think too, just the people you've brought in, like we're so close.
Yeah.
Like I truly think we're a family. And it's so, and even like new people coming in, we're like, hey, join the family, come on.
Yeah. And I will say, I think that's been probably one of the biggest hurdles this year has been the people side. I think I've really struggled with it a lot. I think I've really struggled with it as from a position that I give so much. I try to help people so much. And then I get people that take advantage of it over and over. And I sit and meet with these high level business people and they're like, the thing you have to focus on the most is don't become cold. I said that it's one thing that business will do to you. And I remember like the first person I had to fire, like that was the hardest thing I've ever done. Now it's just like part of what I do. I'm like, it is what it is. Like it's removed that emotion from it because you sit there and you listen to people's life stories and you sit there and you invest so much on trying to help their personal life and do all these different things. And then when they turn around and cut your legs out from underneath you for nothing, we got people spectating us like an aquarium in here in the middle of the office.
You can hear everything in this bus.
Yeah.
It's like your office. You
Yeah.
hear everything through your office too.
You can. Every time
Bree's
we
like,
have a
oh my God, they
conversation-
can?
No,
No,
I really
seriously.
can.
Darby
They're mic'd up 24/7 in there. It's
Darby can hear literally everything we say. Sometimes we'll have said something and I'll walk over and he'll be like, well, I heard you. And I'm like, did you really?
well, sometimes they'll be talking really loud and then they'll like stop and they'll start. You can just hear them
Whispering.
start whispering. I'm like, must be
Everyone
talking
thinks
about,
we're talking
must
shit
be talking
in there
about some
every
stuff.
time the door's shut, and that's not the case. Sometimes it's just we don't want, just like you said, sometimes you shut your door just so you can like go down and focus. So maybe when the volume goes down, it's because we're not talking.
Yeah.
We'll go
We're
with that.
working.
We're
And we're focused.
We'll go with that.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll go with that one.
Yeah. So as we progress this year too, Emma and Bree have become roomies. So we got quite the show going on across the office.
You
Yeah.
call us a show?
Yeah, we are a show.
Yeah, it's definitely
We were
a show.
gone last Thursday and Friday, and everyone said it was so boring.
We've heard
It
it,
was
from
quiet.
multiple people.
It was
Yeah.
extremely
And I said
quiet.
good quiet or bad quiet, and people have said, and maybe you guys have it different. They said it was kind of a bad quiet. I'm
Yeah.
like, yeah.
No, I'm all about office energy. I like the hype. I'm loud. I'm obnoxious. Like it is what it is. Like I live for it.
Are we loud and obnoxious?
Yes.
Yes. Pretty anything twice.
Yeah, I already know that.
No, so I live for that. Like, and that's where I hate going to places of business that it's like stale. You can like hear a pin drop, and I'm like, dude, I can feel tension in here. Like, and my deal is my intensity goes all directions. So it can be good, it can be bad, whatever it may be. Like somebody gets me on the phone, gets me wound for sound. Like,
Can hear her from across the office.
yeah, I don't give a shit that people can hear it. Like, but it's just, once again, I see that the office energy is something that I get a lot of compliments on it. And it's probably the the best compliments I receive are the ones that are about the office, that are about the people that are here.
Mhm.
When I get those, that's what when people are like, oh, MMG's doing great. Like, I'm like, yeah, like, is what it is. But then it's like when somebody like compliments somebody in here, I'm like,
Hell yeah.
all right, I'm doing something right.
Yeah.
Like, that means the world to me.
Are you worried that this dynamic's going to kind of change with 2 buildings?
I've thought about that, but it's like, it was the same thing. I was worried about the dynamic moving from the River Market to here. And it's companies have to take steps to move forward. And I know my job is to make sure no one sees the end of that runway, that no one is allowed to see that.
Yeah.
I'm the only one that ever gets to see that. And as a business owner, that's what I have to do. And I started seeing the end of the runway with this building.
Really?
Yeah.
Hmm.
When I'm mathing people, and that's what I did when I got to the River Market. I started mathing people, and I could tell the energy had changed kind of February, March.
Mm-hmm.
We were onboarding a lot of accounts. We knew we were needing more people. We were buying more desks. We got rid of a whole set of desks to build the runway. So we built the gauntlet, and it was like, I'm mathematically trying to figure out how to put more people in there. I'm like, if I'm seeing that there's only 4 or 5 people left to fill this office up, then everyone else is going to start seeing that real quick.
Mm-hmm.
And then that vision's gone. The vision of what everyone's chasing after is gone. To where my deal is just keep opening that up to where people don't feel they're compressed, and there's not a ceiling. And I was sitting there, I always play 12 months in front of myself. And when I'm looking at this and I'm looking at the space that we have, and I'm like, 12 months from now, this doesn't hold us. So it's like, if you wait 12 months and then you get into construction side, then you get to where you're playing behind. And I look at it as like, be proactive instead of reactive in anything that you're going to do. So we have to be in a position at the beginning of the year is that office going to be filled up day one? No. But it is going to give us a position to hold 10 more people over there. And it's going to open up a position to have probably 15 more over here, to where it opens the door to double in size that fast, which I think it happens in probably 90 to 120 days in the beginning of the year.
Mm-hmm.
How do you navigate having 2 different buildings but keeping a company culture over both of them that still is cohesive?
I don't know. I haven't done it.
I will be the mascot, and I will go around to each office. You're
So,
good.
So my deal is I think that it's controlled on the people that are inside of each of them. That I'm going to be at both offices every day. That's why I ended up pulling the trigger on something that was 4 minutes away, that I can go back and forth. And I also have enough trust in the people around me that I feel the culture now is held by itself. It's not fully dictated on me anymore. Towards the same thing at both offices. There's going to be people that are in control of holding that same energy. And I want it when somebody goes for a sales meeting at the other office, once they get done over there, they get a green light, they come over here. And I've been thinking about how to elevate that experience. Like, what does that experience look like when you're over there? It's like, hey, we have the bins pulled up front. Let's jump in the car real quick. We're going to run over to the other office for you to onboard. They get in the car, they come rolling in, and it's like garage door opens up, their red carpet service pulled right in. We have champagne ready for them.
Damn.
Like the whole 9. Like, I want the experience to be something that somebody's never had before. And that's
bus.
like,
You could do the bus.
I think the bus though doesn't.
Get on the bus. We're going.
I don't think the
I
bus
like the
holds
Benz route. The Benz route's a little better.
It that's what I talk about when I talk about the.
What's like going
The
back to what?
hospitality.
Yeah, I was gonna say back to what you're saying
Yeah.
on Monday. The hospitality.
Gotta be classy. Keep it classy around here.
But it's like, I think you can be really classy, and I think you can have flair with it.
Mm-hmm.
That is unique. That the bus, the graffiti on the front, our office is still very high end and very professional, but it builds that culture inside that I think I have probably 1 to 2 people a week come through here and like, who's your designer? I was like, me. And they're like, what? I was like, yeah, I just buy random shit that I like. And then
Black
I
and
find
gold
a
Just
shit.
throw
spot
it
for
around. If it looks good there, that's where it's going.
Yeah. I mean, the antique shop, I bought
I
a
was
lot
about
of
to
good
say,
stuff.
I miss the antique shop.
That is probably my biggest thing anytime I was having like, I will say I don't have it as much anymore. I think I've matured a lot from even the River Market till now. That I used to like, I could tell my emotions were kind of picking up, that I was getting irritated and I needed a second to breathe. So I just walk over to the antique shop and take a couple laps and buy something and come back. So
My wife does that. She goes to Target.
yeah, my wife still does that too.
Yeah.
So
It's a good time.
They'll
yeah.
always do that.
What are you going to
guys.
Target for? I just need to just to get some alone time. I'm like, at Target?
At Target,
Yeah.
there's a lot of people there.
Yeah.
I
How you
know.
gonna
I
be
don't like.
alone?
I don't like.
Don't
going
worry
to
about it.
Target.
I'll be back.
Yeah,
She always comes back.
they always come back.
I do.
With more shit.
Hmm Yeah, but that's the next thing too. I have to work on is furnishing the other office.
Yeah,
So that's
because it's empty right now.
that's in construction. All new carpets going in, all new paint.
Yeah, you guys didn't
floors.
get
Was
to
this
see
one
it.
kind of?
Went and saw it
Did you
last.
see-
Went and saw it last
Did you
week.
not see that? You
I
saw
I didn't know that
Yeah.
Darby went.
That was
They
me.
all went.
Tall, handsome guy in the video. That was me.
That's Darby.
Wow.
Yeah, I missed
Wow.
that.
It's
part.
nice. It was nice.
And you guys took the city brum video without us.
Yeah.
Right? We
Yeah.
were saying that. You literally just talked to us about that.
They did that without
Yeah.
me here.
Hmm.
You
Just-
brought in the hats.
Yeah, where was I
Yeah.
when that was done?
I don't know. Alex came and knocked on my door, said, "Hey, I need you."
Oh,
So-
Yeah, Alex did it.
yeah, I think I was out. I'm looking at my calendar, see where I was.
You might
Oh,
have
I had-
actually been at the office.
No, I had a podcast at the shop.
The cigar shop.
The shop.
I was over at a podcast and I told Alex, I was like, hey, we need to get on a video for the City Brim hats. And then he showed me that. Like,
He
2 days later,
executed.
I was like,
Yeah.
wow.
It was about a 40-minute ordeal and
Yeah.
done.
Yeah, I was wondering how you guys spun the hat around.
You did some cool hat tricks. I could
Yeah.
tell. You did a little.
Got a lot of
flip.
tricks up my sleeves.
Yeah.
Think about the Knicks. Emma, what were your thoughts when you first came in?
It's like hard to remember because I was in such a daze during that time, just like so much in life. But I remember just like it was optimistic, and I love a little optimism. And it was like I felt like everyone in here had optimism for where they could go in their own lives, where they could go in their life at MMG. And I thought that was really cool that you could have both and still be under one roof. I thought that it was special that I was coming out of a corporate job and I knew I didn't like it, and I knew I wouldn't like it doing that, but it was one of those things I was like, I need to test it and just like experience it. And I had done it and I was like, okay, I need something else. And I lucked out knowing Alex, and Alex is always so nice to me to say like, well, you'd put the work in for me to want you to come work here. And I think that's really cool. And so I just thought the dynamic, I was very nervous because I was the third girl starting here. That was the one thing, is I was like, I don't want to like punk their jam. Like I grew up with two brothers and I know what it's like because I always was fighting to like, I was the only girl snowboarding and I was the only girl trying to go play ripstick battles with people. And I knew that I messed up the dynamic when I would go do that, but I was like, I can prove I can be here. And so I didn't want to mess up the dynamic of this place because I thought that what you guys had was really, really special. And I didn't know how I would be in addition because I always still Brie. Like she can shoot the shit with you guys better than anyone I've ever met in my life. Like when I was joking that you were the little brother earlier because
Yeah.
we're making fun of your outfit, but like you actually are. Like you actually are the little sister who like can hang out with the guys. And I'm like, I don't think I can match that because that's not me. Oh
You
my
have
God.
totally matched it.
Yeah, I don't now I'm apparently some. But yeah, it was I didn't know what to expect, honestly. I didn't know what my feelings were when I first got here because I was in such everything around me was so loud. And like I do think this place has helped me like quiet some of that loudness, even in the chaos of it
Mhm.
all. Because it has been
Chaotic.
the most chaotic few months of a lifetime. But I'm like, how cool that this chaos can be going on around me, and like I can learn about myself and how to keep me no matter what's going on around me. So
And that's something I talk with a lot of people about, is I know it's been very chaotic, and I know that in discomfort you find success. And a lot of people could take this and really ramp it down to something that probably makes some money. It's nothing over the top. It's pretty generic. You don't have people inside the walls that are offended. You don't help them look further in life. You say, hey, this is what you get paid. This is what you always get paid. And that's the marketing world. Is it's very cut and dry. It's very black and white. And that's not what I picture for people. I picture people like truly developing. I look at, the people that I've been around and for years, and I mean, even how far Bree has come in her time frame here, and it's like I've seen her evolve as a person, not just business wise. I think that's what, yeah.
Oh.
But it's like we've sat down and we talk finances, we talk on a lot of these different things, and it's like
Yeah.
this is what it takes to have a better life, and this is what it takes to find freedom and purpose. And there's a lot of people that aren't open-minded to that. And I will say that the females coming into MMG has helped the dynamic a lot, because I'm going to say you guys have been more receptive actually than a lot of the male side has been. And you guys have actually seeked help more than a lot of people have just, when they don't talk about it, they just wait until it comes to a point of no saving and we're already too far gone.
Yeah.
And I feel like I've been able to tell you guys what the path is, what we're trying to do. And I don't have all the answers for everything. When you talk about like what the culture looks like at a second spot, I have no idea. Dane is a business owner, has never owned 2 locations. So it's like, we moved out of one to here, and before that it was a basement, to where it's like, there's not this huge decorated past that I have. And I think a lot of people look to me all the time for this perfect answer, and I don't have it. So I've always been very much on that side of we're learning as a team. We're all learning as we go. Did I know what the outcome would be of Notion? No, but I knew that had to take place to scale. That I knew that was a problem in the equation that had to be fixed to get to the next step. But it's like, I'm always the person too that just takes action, just moves. I don't need to know the outcome. We're going to figure it out as we go. We figured out a lot of things. And I mean, we had hiccups on content. We got to a spot that we're in the best content position we've ever been at right now. With a lower level or with a lower amount of content people, with the best process that we've had from an editing position. And my thing is, I was talking to those people at that time, trying to fix the problem that I knew what it was, and they wouldn't admit that was a problem. That people were very closed-minded. They weren't open-minded to actually how to make things better. You get to a spot when you live in chaos and you're having problems knowing your way day over day. My thing is, I get up every day that the biggest problems of this company make it up to me. And I have to make a decision. I don't get to call someone like, hey, do I do this or this? Like what? Like there is no a person above to call. So every single time I make a decision, when there was 5 people in the basement myself, it was pretty easy for us to come to a conclusion of what we want to make a decision wise. Now it's no matter what decision I make, there's going to be people in the office that disagree with it. No matter what, every decision I make, not everyone agrees. And it's like, I think a lot of times people think I make a decision just like, I have the greater good of the company always in mind. And I think when certain people truly understand that, to where when I'm making those decisions, like, I don't need to know every bit of it. I know and I trust that you're making the right decision to move the ship forward. And that's where I think the difference is between the people that have really honed in here and done well and move forward. They see the vision. They see where we're going. They see that I'm learning as we go too. But in the startup side, if you enter a company at these stages, you have a whole different stance further in life. I have a buddy that's in a huge company, crazy, crazy smart. And he's like, I want to come there in it would be a whole new department for us. But he's like, I could actually be standing at the forefront to lead something in the future. Because he's like, the position I'm in right now, he goes, there's 5 people ahead of me that were with the company 10 years before me. Yeah. And he goes, I have 25 years before I ever even get a step to move forward. He's found his ceiling now. And I think that's hard, like, as a person, being, hey, this is where you're at. I don't like that as a person, so I try not to do that to other people. But it's also, people have to take their own steps forward. I don't do it for them. I'll give you the direction, but it's all 3 of you guys. You guys have moved forward yourselves. I'm not taking any credit for that. I've helped point the right direction. That's, hey, when we started Notion, you didn't like Notion because it was so much organization. Like, I know that's not Bree's forefront.
I love it.
But, okay.
I love it.
No, but it's like, I know that wasn't a forefront, but it was something I talked to Bree, and I'm like, if you figure this out and like you work on this, it will make your life better.
Yeah.
I'm not just telling you to use Notion just because Dane wants to tell you to use Notion. Like,
I thought that's what it was.
Well, I think my first 2 weeks I was doing Notion and still uploading stuff to the drive, and finally Logan came over and he's like, "Dude, what are you doing?" And I was like, "This is how the Notion and then the drive." I was like, "I'm supposed to be doing both, right?" And he's like, "No." He's like, "Notion is replacing the drive," and I was like, "Dude, I've been sitting here doing double the work the whole time, just super organized." I'm like, "Oh, I got this now. This is good." And he's like, "No, dude." He's like,
That's funny.
"Notion only."
They
I was
told me to do that. I go, no, I'm not doing that. I'm using Notion.
But the organization that I look at how cool it is when people come now, they don't know any different.
Yeah.
That it's like we're fixing. It's a problem to Bree and the people that were here before.
Yeah.
Didn't
Where the
even
new
know.
people
Yeah.
that's not, they're like, oh, this is how you guys do it.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't know any different.
Like,
Yeah.
So that's what I look at how much better we're building to move forward. That right now, if we had to go hire 5 marketing people, I feel comfortable about it. They would be injected into a system that actually is operational.
Mm-hmm.
That, Bree, what did day 1 look like when you started?
Oh gosh. Oh, so it was the drive, and Dalton was like, "Okay, Brie, like when you're done with the week, make it green." Well, a couple hours later, he goes by, he goes, "Have you not gotten shit done? Like nothing's green, and it's only on your side of your account." I'm like, "It's all green on my side, not your side." So he's like, "Oh, I guess that training didn't work then." Like,
But in like the front side, we didn't have any like system of what day 1 looks like. It was just like you kind of jumped in. We're like, "Hey, welcome
Yeah.
to the team."
Were you the first like account manager?
no. Well, Logan and Dalton
Well,
were
yes,
doing.
Yeah.
but like you were the first like addition to that.
I think you were.
Was
That's
I?
crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's crazy.
You're the
Yeah.
OG.
Wandering
You
Vine was
are
my
an
first
OG.
account.
You're an OG.
But it
I'm
was
not the basement crew. I'm the OG crew.
yeah. Which like every movement of MMG, there's going to be a day 3-4 years from now that we build the fantasy factory and the fantasy factory is built, and we're going to talk back about the crossroads.
Yeah.
We're gonna talk back about
But-
how Dre took the mousetrap and it slapped me in the eye, and I felt like Chanel West Coast in that moment.
But it's like I look back that I didn't appreciate the basement days enough. Like
Yeah.
at that time, I was sitting there grinding my ass off, and I'm like,
I know. I wish you guys recorded more stuff in there.
which at that point I didn't want anybody to know we were in a basement.
This is so embarrassing.
Which, like, we were selling $high accounts, we were going places, like the product and the service was right, but the location did not match what we were selling.
You weren't bringing clients to the basement?
No,
What?
Shoal Creek office is full.
You did podcasts down there.
Yeah,
Didn't
but that
you?
was it.
Yeah.
Like, but those
He
were people I was, like-
blindfolded him to get him to the podcast studio.
were
He
people I was
sat him
like-
down.
I was like really good friends with.
Yeah.
Like, but besides that, it was. When I talked to people, I told them Shoal Creek office was full. We had to get lunch. It was the Shoal Creek office. I was not
You weren't
lying.
lying.
That is so funny.
You
Yeah.
ain't a liar, but you ain't a truther.
Yeah, it was fibbing a little bit. It was an office in Shoal Creek in my basement, and it was full.
Our Shoal Creek office is
It's full.
full. It's
Yeah.
actually closed.
Yeah, it's full right now. You want to grab lunch? Let's go to. I went to Saltgrass all
I
the
was
time.
say, where'd you go?
Saltgrass.
Yeah,
Meddy's wasn't there yet, so
No, that'd been clutch.
I haven't been there yet. Is it good?
It's phenomenal.
pretty good.
I've heard good things.
But no, I sit there and I look at each one of those steps. That there's sentimental value to me on that stuff, and it's to the people that are around. That the fact that 5 people joined me to work in a basement is wild. Like that there, just on the movement out, and then when we got to the river market, we're like, look at all the space we got. Right, it was like the gates opened to the marketing world, and then it was like, then all of a sudden, like that fast, we're like, fuck, about space. Like, how'd this happen?
Well, it's like we haven't even been here for a year.
No, moved here April 15th, and
Mm-hmm.
which
Crazy.
the thing was, when I looked at everything, I look as every time I've set a goal and I've where we want to go, we've exceeded it way over. So my deal was to try to hit at a year with this before looking at a second location.
Is the jet next?
The jet's going to be after the fancy factory will be built first.
Okay.
That does have to happen. That will be all movement to the fancy factory. But I got a pretty good idea of what I want to do. I'm going to buy one of the old Lear jets. You can buy them for like $50,000. I'm going to take off the wings off of like if you're looking at the front of it, I'll take off the right side, and I'm gonna build the building, and I'm gonna paint the whole thing black and gold and have the MMG logo on it, and it's gonna be butted up to my office. So I'll have like a walkway. I'll have it all constructed where the plane sits above.
Oh my gosh.
The parking will be underneath.
We're not flying the jet?
Well, I'm gonna get a flyable jet too.
That's just the manifestation.
Oh, duh.
You're
Yeah.
So
gonna
my
land the
office-
jet
Yeah.
on the building.
That's what I was thinking. I'm
gonna
like, a
put
runway
jet,
up there?
I'm gonna put a jet on the side of the building. They'll have the whole thing like constructed where it hangs, and or they'll be mounted from the ground. But I want my garages like to my office to be underneath it, and then I'm gonna turn the whole inside of a jet into a cigar lounge.
Wow.
So I'll have the door that opens up in my office and have my own cigar room.
Boys only.
Yeah, is there like a scent? Like, is the whole office gonna smell like cigars?
No, just the jet will. That's a room off of my office.
Is it going to have like airflow?
Yeah.
I'll have filtration systems.
Strictly hot boxing.
Strictly
Strictly
Oh,
hot boxing
hot
with cigars.
It's
You just
boys
open up the
only,
door, it's
so-
like
Well, Dane had a client over.
Yeah. Sometimes the questions. Hey, we're going to get reindeer for the bins. Are they real?
Where are you getting those from?
Yeah, where
I
you
never know with
You going
you,
to Weston
Dane.
to
I
get
never
those?
We
freaking
get the
know.
real-
Red
reindeer.
Barn Farm, right?
I never know. I never know.
Are they actually going to pull the bins?
Yeah. Bree comes out of 6 real reindeer out in the street pulling the bins up the street.
That's what I was imagining.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Hey, you got the vision. I love it. Maybe in the future we could do something like that.
We need a dog.
A dog.
Yeah. A
Are
dog
you
at
going
the
to take it
fantasy.
out?
Yeah.
There's no grass around here.
At the
That's
fantasy
not
factory.
true. Oh,
The fancy factory for sure.
there's grass around here.
There's
Yeah.
not.
Yes, there
Where?
is. I live right there. There's grass.
I've thought about bringing my dogs like so many times, but I'm just like, we have no grass.
No, we have a whole dog park literally like
Yeah.
10 steps away.
You got access to the dog park.
Yeah. You're that bougie. You got dog park access.
We'll take him too. Me and Emma will have a
What?
heyday with him.
No.
I will have a heyday with him.
Lord.
Seeing old Oakley would probably be pretty good around here.
Mm-hmm.
You'd have a heyday.
Yeah.
We should do a bring your dog to work day though. That could be fun.
Oakley's not real good with other dogs.
Oh, really?
Yeah, first time we took him to Bar K, we took both of them. Duke, my silver lab, doesn't care there's another dog there. This dog comes in, I take him off leash, walks right next to me the whole entire time. Walks up to the bar, just looking at me like, hey, bro, like, what are we doing here?
You can get me one?
Yeah.
You can get me a drink?
I literally go sit down. He sits right next to me, literally just watching dogs run around everywhere. Does not care. And Oakley, our Labradoodle, we get there, and the second we take him off leash, it's just boom, gone. And Madison's like trying to find him. We can't find him. And so we're sitting at this table. I'm like, babe, it's
He's
fine.
fine, yeah.
Like, he's somewhere around here.
He's socializing.
All of a sudden, he comes around the corner with like 30 dogs chasing him. And he's like, just, and all the people there are like blowing the whistle at him and stuff. I'm like, "Dude, that's your dog. Like, you go get your dog."
Oh,
So,
that's funny.
yeah.
That is funny.
But,
We need to hear Darby's side.
yeah.
My side of things?
Yeah, you
when I
came in
first
like
started?
for 3 weeks just walking around. I didn't know who you were.
The maintenance man.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
maintenance man.
Emma
He
thought
was-
I was the maintenance
He was
guy.
putting up new drywall.
Yeah.
Because Dane literally said to me, he's like, telling when I was, listening to get hired and stuff, he's like, we just hired this guy. Like, he came from Holland Drywall. And I'm like, oh, so he's going to be like fixing up the building.
This place is going to look sick.
Yeah. And then it was the bus stuff was happening on the bus. And I was like, oh, he hired him to take out the seats of the bus. Like, it was all.
That's what I was in here cutting them seats out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know anyone yet. And then you didn't talk for like 3 weeks and you just walk by and you'd walk.
Some people say I'm antisocial. My wife
No, you're
would,
not.
but no.
You kind of are.
Yeah,
You're an
sometimes.
introverted extrovert.
Yeah, there you go. No, I would say I just came in with a blank canvas. I mean, from where I came from, I just knew I was extremely unhappy. So whatever this place had to offer, it was going to be 100 times better than where I was at. So, and I knew if I was willing to learn that I was going to be successful. So I also figured I might as well use my brain rather than my body every single day. So
Mhm.
that was cool. It was almost like a reset to my brain because I've been doing labor for 7 years straight. I didn't really know how to operate a computer anymore. So that was fun. But no, I just knew if I was willing to learn and willing to learn was really the biggest thing.
I think I told all 3 of you guys probably some point during an interview thing that you're walking into a shit show, just so you know. And I've always been pretty upfront on that of like not painting some pretty picture that it's like, hey, we got perfect processes in place. Hey, like Now when people start, I'm like, hey, it's actually
It ain't too shabby.
pretty good when you walk in compared to what others have went through. Like people show up, they're like, what am I doing today? I'm like, I have no idea. I'm like, I'm gonna go get you a computer, so you have that, and here, talk with Logan Dalton here. It's a respected area.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people, though, I think that's something we struggle with content a lot. Is there's some people that need their hand held 200% of the time, and you have to tell them what to do every hour of the day. And if you miss 1 hour, then it's just gone.
Mm-hmm.
So no, I definitely think we're getting closer.
Mm-hmm.
I think we've taken on a lot this year. This is definitely a monumental year of the actual real growth of MMG. I think from an operations standpoint, I think from accounting standpoint, from just overall the marketing standpoint of ourselves getting more honed in.
Mm-hmm.
We were going over our new website, building everything yesterday, and I want to get more aggressive in the space. And it's like I want to own our position, and we don't need to sell everybody. And I think we're getting to a spot now that it's healthy movement.
Mm-hmm.
I think for a long time it was just always. I felt like we would take 10 steps forward and 5 back, just over and over and over. I'm like, way I was justifying. I'm like, well, at least we still moved forward.
Mm-hmm.
And but it's those 5 steps back that I'm live in my head rent free all the time. I feel like, and it's how do we get out of having those?
Well, in those 5 steps back, did you lose someone who could have taken us 20 steps forward? It's like, and not gone those 10.
I come to peace pretty easy. Like when people leave, like
Everything happens for a reason.
Exactly. I've always been a person. I live my life. I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be when I'm supposed to be there, and it's everything's for a reason. I will say there's some people that aren't here that I would like for them to be here, and I'm not going to say every person that has left is. There's people that left the right way. That there's people I still have a very high level of respect for. There are some people left I have no respect for now. That we have content guys out in the world that are trying to sell, and what they're trying to sell on was the fact that they work for Moss Marketing Group. That is their opening statement right now. I literally was at the gym this morning, and a guy's like, hey, this guy reached out, wants to do all my content for free, and he said he worked for Moss Marketing Group. And I was like, yeah. I go, there's a group of them that they don't know how to sell anything. They don't have a network of people. They don't know who to go talk to. And I go, so their thing is to go talk to somebody that I know. That their network of people that they've been around are people that I know.
Yeah.
And
like that
MMG
would have
knows.
been fine if you could give them a good referral.
Yeah.
But like they burnt that bridge, then it's
Exactly. That's my thing too, is just be a person of your word.
Mm-hmm.
And it's one of those things that I live by being a person of my word. And we're serving some of these people on different levels, and they've went against contracts, and I've called them to tell them that those are coming.
Mm-hmm.
And my thing is, I've always been that way. I've been very transparent, good, bad, and different. There's nothing I hate in this world more than liars and people that are dishonest and people that do things because I told them, like when I called them, I go, you didn't come after me. I go, I know that that's what you think you're doing, but you came after MMG as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
And I go, you come after my people, game on.
Yeah, now we got an issue.
Yeah. My deal is you can do all you want to me. You can get online, you can talk shit about me, do whatever you want. You're not going to be able to say anything about me to trigger me.
Mm-hmm.
You fuck with the people around me, different game. That's where but it's like that's something that I wasn't messing with any of those deals, but once you start coming and
once you start poking the bear, it's
Like the bear had been poked. Once you start poking the cubs.
Yeah,
That's
it's the
when
Cubs.
but it's like it people think so small. People are so selfish on what their thought process, and everything I've done for 4.5 years has been poured into this place.
Mm-hmm.
And it's building a different roadmap for people one after another. But there's some people that can't see it at all, and they don't see opportunity in life. And when they do that, they think that they're going to walk out of here and they're going to go find some different opportunity that's just shining down the street. I was like, you have every opportunity for success right here in front of you. You just don't open your eyes to see it. I drive in every single day and I think about all the opportunity in the world that we can go get. That's why we don't struggle to move forward. World's huge. You have abundance mindset. There's so much of everything out there to be had.
Yeah.
But you just have to train yourself to think that way all the time. If you want to get up in the morning, go look for the negatives in the world, I promise you there's a shit ton out there and you can find them everywhere.
Well, it's like your statement you always say, and I was listening to something the other day. Winners win. Winners win. Well, winners don't just win. Winners lose. And then they frame that completely differently and go win again.
So,
and then you lose and then you win again.
So my deal is I never look at a loss. I think in business you have wins and you have learning. Those are the only two forefronts you have. There's failures that we have every single week. I make a lot of bad decisions. Like no way, shape, or form do I say I'm perfect on my decision making. But it's like I said, when that gets up and I have a decision to be made, and it's amazing how I've gotten really irritated with people when they come and they're identifying a problem that I know that we have. Give me a better solution. Identifying problems is easy.
Mm-hmm.
Finding the solutions is where winners are made. And when you have those failed attempts at whatever it is that you're trying to fix, that's when you can go back to the drawing board to reestablish a better movement forward. But I don't look at that as a loss. I don't look at that. Some people format it as a failure. You can format it as whatever you want. I format it as a learning experience that made me better going forward.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I opened up the hardest thing I ever had to do was when we came out of the basement, I put a lot more on Dalton and Logan's plate, Ricky and Lauren, Dre. I had to trust everyone, and I knew that they were all going to fall. And the same thing has happened this year, which I sat with the leadership group. And I said, bury everyone under you. I said, put the pressure on them and find where their breaking point is. I would try to break people because that's where like,
you broke us.
No, but the thing is, it didn't break you guys because
No.
you're here.
Yeah.
My thing is, I want people to feel what stress feels like. I want people to feel what pressure is. That's where champions are made.
Yeah.
If it was easy, everyone would do it. My deal too is when I find out people don't break under pressure, I know they're supposed to be sitting at my table.
Mm-hmm. Well, I even think like being under pressure, you just need to keep that positive mindset.
Yeah.
Because like I was a couple months ago, I was under a lot of pressure and I had a horrible mindset, and every day I would cry. And then now I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna be in a good fucking mood and see what happens. And now I'm like, oh, it's not that bad.
But
we're good.
You look at it as I look back at the things that I've made it through, and it gives me more confidence as a person. So what I'm trying to do is build the confidence of the people around me, that they know when those hard times come, they're not fearful of them.
Mm-hmm.
Most people fear hard times because they are worried about breaking. Once you start overcoming those things, this business has tried to break me for 4.5 years. And I look at it now as this point, it fucking can't.
Yeah.
It doesn't have that power over me.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same thing that I've put the people around me through that same ringer. And there's a lot of people that don't want that in their life. And that's okay. But the people that want to be a champion that stands at the top, you have to go through that. And it's not always fucking rainbows and sunshine. It's putting in the work. It's grinding. It's doing that to earn your spot at the table. It's the same thing if you're playing college sports. Like everyone wants a spot, but no one really wants to put in what it takes to be there. That you look at some of these pro athletes and you look at the drive and you look at the work that has been put in. Everyone wants to see them everyone sees them during the game and they see the win. They don't see the late nights. They don't see the training every single day. They don't see getting up at 4:00. They don't see all that stuff. That's the hard stuff that the average person can't do.
A lot of people don't want to be uncomfortable.
Yeah.
That's like going back to when I first started. I knew I was going to be uncomfortable, but I knew that I was going to learn more doing that. Like my first day when I sat down and Logan and Dalton were like, "Here's 5 accounts." I was like, "Oh fuck." Like shit.
That's how you grow.
Yeah, now it's nothing to do 5 accounts.
But that's the thing that I've worked with them a lot on too, is pushing stuff to other people.
Yeah.
That I was like, I put it on you guys, and they're like, if they're not ready and we drop the ball here and everything, I'm like, it's going to happen.
Yeah. I will say Logan and Dalton have really like stepped up this year and have been great leaders to us and
that's
make the marketing team tight.
And I respect the world out of those two, and I respect the world out of everybody here. But I've seen how much those two have grown in 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
And it's wild to see that. And now I sit there and I think about the multiplier of this, all the people we have now, that if we can generate that same growth in everyone over the next 3 years, where we stand at that point will be unreal. Because them creating that movement forward is I had to build the leader in them.
Mm-hmm.
And it was, both of them have came from leadership positions, but leadership always looks way different. And I think a lot of times people have been put in leadership positions, but not really succeeded in leadership positions. That when I get asked all the time, they're like, MMG's like doing great. Like, you've done a great job. I'm like, it's not me anymore. Like, it outgrew me. It's now the leadership side, the leadership team doing what they do is what's moving it forward, but it's everyone that's with them. And then it's they're building. I focus when I talk with them is build the future leaders under you, that you're going to have that next level. You're going to have to, you train somebody to take your job.
Mm-hmm.
Great leaders train someone to take their job. And people that have low confidence in themselves never want to train the next person because they're fearful of losing their job because they don't bring enough value to the table. If you bring the value to the table and you become great, then when you train that next person, that's what actually moves you up the line.
Mm-hmm.
So how to move yourself forward. And this is where I've went round and round with people. They're like, well, at the end of the day, you're wanting it for yourself. You want to move MMG forward. I was like, yeah, I want to move MMG forward, but I understand my success comes secondary.
Mm-hmm.
If I spend the time and I develop somebody, I know that I'm going to be successful because of that. And they're like, well, then you're out for yourself. I was like, no, I'm not. I was like, I want other people. I'm like, I don't know how this, I mean, it loops back around with two people sitting. If somebody elevates at the same table, the whole table moves forward.
Yeah.
Like, wow concept. But
this is why I hated news. And I don't know if I told you this when I was talking to you, but I came from the journalism school and I wanted to be in broadcasting. I loved it. I loved the way you could work with people and I loved working as a team. I was an athlete. I loved doing team sports things. And what I realized very quickly was everyone was out to make someone else worse so they could be better. And I from coming from a sports background, I'm like, you are literally only as good as your weakest link, which sounds like dumb and so cliche, but like when someone next to you is doing better, you can only be better. When someone next to you is getting the tools to be the best they can be, you can only be the best you can be too. And like, I couldn't stand how much people wanted to tear someone else down or not give them the tools to succeed, because I was like, at the end of the day, all we're doing is holding ourselves down.
Yeah.
And I couldn't see a future in working in a group that was like that. And I don't think every newsroom is like that. And I don't want to talk bad about the newsroom I was in either, but I think a lot of people could agree that nobody was ever going to reach their full potential there because of how much people were focused on just taking the next person down to be better than them.
And I hate that like mentality. I've always looked at it as there's plenty of success for everyone.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things that I've drawn the line in the sand of what real success looks like here. And it's one of those things that we have one problem, and when we fix it, it's going to correlate to everyone. That this year we've onboarded the most accounts we ever have, but we have had a high cancellation too. That we've dropped the ball on a lot of accounts. We haven't done our job. And it's how do we become more effective and efficient at what we do to do a better job to serve those people on the other side. And we've had a few accounts that it's been on the business owner's side. And I'm not going to say every person out there should be a business owner. There's business owners out there that they pay for marketing. They think it's going to solve every problem that they have.
Mm-hmm.
And they have their product and service isn't correct. Their sales side is off. Their operation side is off. Like, I mean, people think that marketing did not just make this whole thing happen. This year, I've been probably less focused on our marketing side than anything else. The marketing side we had figured out before this year on how to acquire work. This year has been way more figuring out the operations side to actually make the operation work at scale.
A lot of internal stuff.
Yeah. And sometimes I didn't understand that the first 3 years of business. I was never focused on that. And if I could go back and tell myself one thing at the beginning of business, I would say focus on the operations earlier.
Notion.
Yeah. But it's like if we would have implemented Notion in the very beginning,
Yeah.
this company would be 5 times further ahead than it is now. If we would have focused on those kind of things, But in the front side, we're just doing all the work all the time. You're chasing money, try to get to the next step financially. And that's the other big problem I have with a lot of times people in business. They'll be like, I don't make enough money. And it's because they try to mathematically break down what accounts are paying, and then their pay, they don't take in account of everything else.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what rent is here, what we spend on equipment in a month is just nauseating. Like health insurance, you look at what goes out on that every month, vision, dental, everything. Like there's just so many things to add up that it's leveled me up a lot, just understanding that side of business.
Mm-hmm.
That I have a lot more respect for my dad now. When he was doing that, I didn't understand it. And I was the person, I'm like, dude, we're killing it. We're
Doing great, dude. This is awesome.
Yeah. I'm like, why am I not getting paid more? And like, I was the asshole in the equation. Like for sure. Like I was just uneducated. And so I've worked a lot more on trying to educate the people around, and like, this is where we're at and this is what we have to get to. And then this is how it correlates. Where instead my dad did kind of keep me in the dark, and it was just a wrong time, wrong thing every time. And it was, he was trying to run a business. He was trying to make the financials work. And there was just a lot that goes into that. And you have to get to a spot that the business, it holds everything above. Like that is the operation. There's no one person that holds enough power in that equation to mess it up. And I think that's where we had some content stuff. I think we had content people who really thought they were going to sink the ship with them leaving. I truly believe that they thought that they had formulated a plan to sink it.
We got this.
But it's like, that's why I lost so much respect for those people. And that's why that will be the worst decision they have ever made.
Yeah.
I can promise you that.
And can I be honest?
Yeah.
So like when all that stuff was happening, I thought the sink was shipping too. But then
The sink was shipping.
Did I say that?
Damn sinks.
The ship was sinking.
Sorry, I'm sorry.
No, good call. But then all I had to do was talk to you.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay.
And it's like, my deal is, that's what I'm positioned for.
Yeah.
That's like what I live for now, is like, I want the big problem.
Yeah.
That's what gets me excited. When I get put in a position like that, let's ride. Like, you're in the arena.
Well, and I told Bree too when all this was happening too. I was like, at least we're taking steps to fix the things.
Yeah.
Where I came from, where I was before I came here, we would just let problem after problem after problem happen, and we would just talk about them. No one would do a single thing about it.
Yeah.
I kept telling Bree, I'm like, dude, we're taking the right steps to fix these things, so they're gonna get fixed.
Yeah.
It sucks right now, but 5, 6, 7 weeks from now, when everything's back to normal, then it's gonna be worth it.
And it gave us a better foundation now moving forward.
Mm-hmm.
I
Totally agree.
I had problems presented that I didn't know that I had, and I got to fix them. And that's something that I would rather happen now than happen later and be a bigger problem.
Yeah.
So that's my thing. It's like, I want to confront these problems. I want to take them on. Like, I like doing that stuff. And I know a lot of times, like, we have all this work, we have things that have to get done every day. We have those kind of deals, but like, I'm sitting looking from the outside in saying, okay, where's our next problem going to come?
Mm-hmm.
How do I fix it before it happens? Like, how do I try to catch that problem? Because if I'm in the weeds working on this stuff all the time, then I miss those things.
Yeah.
That's where I've seeked outside help too. Like, I've seeked a lot of really high level mentorship to say, okay, this is where I'm at. This is where all these different things are happening. What am I missing? Please let me look through the lens that's a few steps ahead.
Mm-hmm.
So I can try to fix this before it ends up being something that, my biggest fear of those kind of things isn't the people that left. It's when it affects somebody that I don't want to leave.
Mm-hmm.
That is my biggest fear.
Sometimes the cancers affect the good people, and the good people end up getting sick of it. And
exactly.
leaving, yeah.
And we had that happen. That it was something that was my biggest. I should have been in front of that before it happened, because I already knew I had that problem. I just didn't have the answer for it yet.
Mm-hmm.
And I was trying to figure out the answer. I should have been on it a lot quicker, and I should have went for a funding position of equity sale. I should have acquired the money on the front side. I should have liquidated all those people before it, because I could have picked a group too that I would liquidate. Like, and the thing is, I knew that there was cancer. I knew it was spreading. I didn't know how to fix it. And
Which is where I do wonder sometimes. You're big on bring me the solution, not just the problem. When we don't have the solution, what can we do to not just let the problem like fester and grow, which is what happened in that
which
scenario.
my deal too is like everyone's identifying the problem for me, which it ended up, it just had to back me into a fucking corner where it was like, hey, you don't have any choice but to figure something out.
Figure it out.
Like,
now.
so sometimes you're going like day by day. You're like, I know it's a problem. Like, and it's hard in business because you have clients on the other side that are expecting things that if I came in, I was like, I just fired 5 people in a day. You'd be like, and we're trying to get shit done and we're drowning. Then all of a sudden I get the reverse effect that I have people inside that they're like, Dane lost his fucking marbles. Dude lost his mind. Like, how are we going to get all this done? So that's where it's like, it's a lose-lose any way I formulate it in my head.
Yeah.
There wasn't a glorious way to come out of it.
Yeah.
So my thing was like, the way that it panned out, all those guys would have went after unemployment. So them walking out themselves, they get no unemployment. They walked out like, I'm contracted on our side. And then it put me in a spot that I had to pull everyone together. And I had to figure out how to go fix it.
Yeah. And you just being open about everything helps so much too.
Yeah. And my thing too is I hope that business owners or anybody that's even in a company can listen to something like this and take away that there are companies that have a leader in place that shouldn't be a leader. That, like you said, that there's problems just arising and they do nothing to fix them. And it's just, it stacks up and they just churn people. Like, I don't want that. But my deal also is I know that there's going to be problems. I need people that are in my corner that are willing to say, I understand there's a problem. I understand that we're trying to fix it. I understand you don't have all the answers today, but I'm here and I'll stand by your side and we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
I find value in those things. That, like, I know a lot of the company was kind of at a spot like, hey, like, what's Dane going to do to fix this? How are we going to get this handled? And then I have the basement crew in on Wednesday. They're like, you got this. But, and Dre's like, you've always figured everything out. Like, Dre's like, I never even think twice when something happens. He's like, he goes, you do it. But it's like, sometimes I need to process a little bit. Like, I wish that, like, the problem just arose and I was like, this is what we're going to do.
Yeah, wouldn't that be nice?
That would be nice.
And just in everything in general. Just
we'd probably be gajillionaires with that if I had that that talent, but I don't. But I do feel like we have a very high trust level with the group that's around here right now. And I feel that we're on a pathway. And I also feel like going through those things makes people stronger, actually.
Yeah.
Those are the things that build the trust. If it was all super easy all the time and it was just like, yeah, Dane just kind of floats around, just never really has real problems. Like, and it's like the first time a real problem does arise, they're gonna be like, oh fuck.
Yeah.
You just know what to do.
But it's like when you're taking those things on over and over and over, then it gets to a spot where it's like, we're always okay.
Sometimes I look at people that let like the smallest things affect them, and I'm like, what? Like, what would this dude do if like something real actually happened? What are you guys looking at?
Because whenever me and him are freaking out, Darby's like, guys, everything's fine.
I'm just a mellow guy.
Everything's fine.
I just have faith in the people. I mean, just like I said, Dane's going to figure it out. I've been here 6 months. I know Dane's going to figure it out.
You're just always like, what are you going to do about it?
And if
it's
not Dane, someone else in the building is going to help us figure it out. It's not one single person is going to solve any problem we have under the roof.
Guy.
I mean,
it really is, because when I'm thinking about these things that come up, I'm not just thinking about the problem at hand. I'm thinking about like this way and that way and this way and that way and all these things and this and that. And so I appreciate you that you can just like, it's just this. And you don't need to worry about that and that and that. And that's where me and Bree have our issues running together, is because we're both like, and this and that. And then we're crying. And then we're like, oh my God. And then we're espresso martini.
Well, then you guys are crying. Then everybody else is like, why are they crying? Now I want to cry. And everybody else is mad. It's like, if I'm here to calm people down, then we're good. We're just.
Yeah.
And
girls just need to
shut
cry.
the door and shut the curtains, right?
Yeah, girls just need to
Everyone
cry.
gets so mad at that. We're trying to just like section us off so we can peace.
Yeah.
Which it's something like I've worked with Madison a long time on. Like, she's like, she goes, things just don't get to you. And she's like, had like over the years, she's gotten 1,000 times better. I've watched her grow and develop, and I'm better at it now than I ever have been. and I'll continue to get better at it. But I tell her, like, when those things happen, I was like, really, like, break it down to what is the root of the problem, what is the problem that's at hand, and what do you have control over.
It's just so crazy.
I tell Morgan all the time.
Something on Instagram that was a circle, and it was like the problem when you think about it, and like the problem changed the color, and then it was like when you break it down, and it was like 4 different, because you can figure out like what is really bothering you.
Yeah.
And like it's not the big ball, it's probably one small ball of these like 8.
Yeah. So a lot of times it's once you break down what the problem really is, and I've just gotten to where this is how I formulate everything in my head every single time I run into something, like that's also where the operation side I've really gotten heavy into, is where we can break it down where the problem's actually at.
Mm-hmm.
And it's if we have a problem, we say, okay, we're hitting from, this is where we onboard the account, this is where we're getting here, we have a problem here. So now we have to back up from that position, because we know something in that line so far has ended up there. It's crazy. A lot of times somebody will have this problem and they're talking about something that's like in the equation, but it's like way down the line. I was like, the problem arose way before that. I was like, the problem is way further down line at the front side of it.
Mm-hmm.
That, I mean, we looked at our onboarding process. Like, I'm not even fully set on our current onboarding process. Is it better than it has been? Yeah. Before it, you had the sale, you had to go through Dre, you had to go to Logan and Dalton, and these people are regurgitating themselves like 3 times. I was like, when we broke it down, and then we were still missing the mark over to the account manager side and the creative side. And I'm like, that's because they're not involved in it. And it's like, we just had so many missed marks that it was like, okay, we know where the problem is there. And then we're going after the content side, and it's like, they're just running, gunning, knowing nothing. And it's like, so it was like the front side of and we're trying to blame the back side of the process being the problem, when it was very much the front end of the process.
I hate Band-Aid fixes to things. I like when like the core of it, you need the Band-Aid fixes.
The old
from time to
Band-Aid on a
time.
bullet
I
hole.
get that,
Yeah.
but I can't. I hate it. It makes me so
Oh.
angry when no one acknowledges the core problem. Let's Band-Aid it for sure, but like, guess what? You're still bleeding out inside. Like, that needs to be addressed.
So it's definitely on things like, I mean, when we hit our editing deal, like, I saw the fastest movement forward was a Band-Aid. And I knew what it was. I knew it wasn't a long-term fix, but I knew something had to happen today. And it was, I had people that are like, well, that's just a Band-Aid fix. That doesn't fix the problem. Yeah, no shit, Sherlock. Great. Glad that you're helping me out with this.
Show me someone who's worn a Band-Aid every day of their life. Please.
No, but it's like, I get that that's a problem. But I'm like, do you have a better
Shit,
fucking
Sherlock.
solution right now at hand? And then they're like, crickets. I'm like, exactly. I'm like, and it's just like, that is like my biggest pet peeve. And you can ask like the leadership side. If you want to get me going in a meeting, tell me a problem that we've already talked about without a solution to it. Like, it's just, and we've discussed it already, but it's just like, yeah, you have that Band-Aid sometimes has to get you to the next stone, that a business has to keep progressing forward. And sometimes I'm looking at it as like, not even what next year may look like, but it's like, okay, we have to get to next month with retaining these accounts. What's something I can pull the trigger on now?
Mm-hmm.
I don't have time to say, like, our other option that we were looking at was like, yeah, we can roll out in like 2 to 3 weeks. I'm like, I don't have fucking 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah.
I need it yesterday.
Yeah.
So then it's like plugging in, and then that's another thing too, is a lot of times people look at those and everyone has some solution, but there's finances that are tied to those things. To where when we're pulling the trigger on things, it's $10,000.
Yeah,
like,
another employee.
and you're talking on some of them, like, we're pulling trigger on things that don't make sense financially at all. And then I have Dre over there. He's like, that's expensive.
Don't buy
I'm
the
like,
fucking reindeer.
I was gonna say, we might be sitting in one of those things right now.
But it's like, the funny thing is, most of the time people correlate like cars and shit like that to like business, like money movement. Like, that is the lowest thing on the list of money things.
Mm-hmm.
Like, people correlate a vehicle and their personal lives as a high value ticket item. In business, it gets to where like you're looking at monthly finances, and on that spreadsheet, if a car is what breaks the fucking pyramid or the fucking house, you got a lot bigger problem. The payroll, I mean, I could buy one of those cars every single month, cash with payroll.
It's crazy.
so like when you start looking at what the cash movement is on payroll, rent, things like that, those are the big numbers that you're looking at, to where you have all these small numbers, and you got to keep an eye on those things. But that's what's funny is when people are uneducated and people think really small, they think of something that is an item that they would want, and they think where the business is excessive. But it's like a single employee that steps on cost way more than one of those cars. Just the onboarding of what we have to do computer and equipment wise can cover my Benz payment for the year.
That's crazy.
Just the equipment side. Like you look at that alone, to where I don't see the cars. I don't see I don't have boats. I don't have any of that shit yet. But it's like, those are things that end up being big ticket items.
Mm-hmm.
But I think a lot of times people just aren't directing their efforts the right way. And they're not figuring out how to open up their mind. That also, if somebody wants to sit down with me and I'll tell you how business tax works, like buying those things are smart investment. Those are a smart move. Like you have to write money off. Like a business has to depreciate items, the transits, all that kind of stuff. We write them off. Like it makes sense. Like you have to spend the money, and they don't see it that way. They look at
why is it their fucking business?
Exactly.
Like,
well,
I think it's fun. Like,
which my deal
it's
too
not
is
my
like I want
problem.
to educate people, but it's also, nobody sees the 3 years that I put 100 hours a week into, that I had all the nice cars at that point. I had the trucks, I had all that stuff. I took 100 steps backwards
Mm-hmm.
to pretty much say I'm going to start over. That I told Madison, I was like, I can't wait for the day where I can have a truck and a car again. That was like a idea that I just made it back to where I was.
It's cool.
To where putting all that time back in, and like the car, once again, now on relevance of the whole thing, is such a small piece.
Mm-hmm.
But it was just something that this thing I struggle with is when I make a move like that, there's people in the building at that time that were so mad at that movement.
Yeah.
That it's like, if you can't cheer for other people to be successful, you'll never be successful yourself. And you will hear that from every high level business person out there, every high level person in general. That if other people keep becoming successful in the walls, outside the walls, the whole nine, I just have to be at the right tables.
Yeah.
And my success will be there.
Well, I could tell like my third day here that like everybody really, really wanted everybody to be successful and believe in each other. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the coolest part about it. You know, you can talk about the culture and everybody being like-minded and wanting to learn, but I think like that's the thing that stands out the most, is everybody really does want the best for each other in here. So
yeah, I think because of that, the people who don't, to me, stick out like a sore thumb, and it's like, it's hard. It's hard to then still like.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was 2 guys I let in here that were the cancer that messed up a lot of things this year. And it was 100% my fault. I had people around me telling me that it wasn't a good idea. But me being hard-headed, I stayed the course of what Dane was going to do.
But look, they didn't even make a year in here.
Yeah.
So.
Didn't make very long at all.
Yeah.
But
we learned.
yeah, we learned.
We
And it
learned.
was something
We
that,
didn't lose. We learned.
Yep.
There you go.
But it's one of those things that you're gonna have those things happen.
Yeah.
And you let people in that are dishonest and try to pit people against one another. And there are people out there that are just they manipulate people around them. Sometimes I'm sounding like Brie over here.
Yeah,
not knowing how to
for
use my
real.
words. But there's some of those people out there that just, they try to get everyone around them to fail, and they want to try to bring other people down. It makes them feel better about themselves when you're weak. Weak people do that.
Mm-hmm.
And misery loves company.
Shit's wild.
You know what my first video was at MMG?
What?
It was, Ricky went around and goes, Brie, what's your tip of the day? And I said, be as honest as Abraham Lincoln.
You do that, yeah.
It's a good point.
Yeah.
Honest and accountable.
Honest
That's
Abe.
all. That's all I ask.
Which,
Positivity too.
And positive.
that's like when we go over our core values. Like, that's one thing I've told the whole leadership side. Every new person that starts, I have the first 30 minutes of their day, and we discuss those. And I told them, I was like, that's the one thing I'm not getting rid of.
Yeah.
That will always be mine. I was like, that's the one thing I want. But it's because those things I want people to focus on so much. If they can focus on those things, their relationships outside of the office will become so much better. Their personal life will become so much better. When all those things, you start living by those day in and day out, you will become better within these walls. And it's most business owners focus solely on people trying to develop them in their walls. That I see the real win is when you develop people outside the walls, it will change them inside the walls. And it's, if you have somebody that absolutely everything's wrong outside, that's why I focus so much on finances. I know a lot of times people stress on finances. It's something, I know people that make 300, 400 grand a year that struggle to the nines. They're one paycheck away from having nothing. To where it's, my deal is, how do you learn how to budget money now? And then I'll teach you how to really make money and really how to scale and how to move forward. Because once you figure out how to do it now, then you can start acquiring money. Then you can start having your money work for you. And then that's what really makes somebody's life outside of here great. And it's, if I help someone do that, I have a lot bigger spot to them in their life than just being like, oh, this is a guy I work for.
Yeah.
Like, and I hate that. Is like when I talk to people, I'm like, I work with people. Nobody works for me. Like, I hate that term. I hate the word employee. I've just always been like, these are the people I work with.
It's cool. I've never heard someone say that. That's really cool.
But it's, I don't think any one person ever works for someone in their life. But you work with people. And that's the same thing when we work for clients. We don't work for a client. We work with a client. And I'm very firm about that. The front side is, this is a partnership. I'm not a vendor.
Yeah.
Which I like too, when we said like hospitality, and even like we were talking to Sal with the Better Wash yesterday, and like I like that you allow us to be honest with people. Like, tell them what's going on, tell them where we're at. Like, things have not been perfect the past 5 months, but I can tell you, I want to give my all to make your company succeed, not because I'm working for you, because I want to work with you to succeed. And here's some things you can do as well to change and grow.
It goes back to what you said on Monday, you know, make their life easy and they're going to make your life 100 times easier.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's, people don't remember what you say. People don't remember what you do, but people will always remember how you make them feel.
Yep.
To where when you do that, when I talk to people, I genuinely care about, like, we had a guy that came in yesterday. His yearly budget's half of what a month costs with us. So I sat there and I told him what he actually needed to do right now, actionable steps to take away when he left here, to how to move his business forward. I said, we're not at a position that a partnership would work here, but this is what if I was in your shoes and I'm telling early me to go back, go do these things.
That's what I would do. Yeah.
I go do these. And I was like, right now you're trying to find funding from these people, go to these people instead. They have the money. This is how you need to present it. This is the offer that you need to make them. This is what their benefit is out of it. And go execute this over the next 5 months. And you're going to make light years over anything that we can provide you.
Yeah.
But it's an honest position that they're not in a spot to be working with us. But it's, I'm very disciplined on the sales team. I'm like, if anybody comes into this office, I don't care if we sell them or not. I want to make sure that they leave here with value. That if we do that, if we have 50 meetings in a week, we have 10 meetings every single day, and say we close out 5 or 10 of them. If we have 40 accounts that leave here having knowledge to go move their business forward, and they get that from us, we're going to have a raving fan out there. And one day they're going to be the size where they can use us.
Yep.
Towards you're hedging your future on those deals. And that's where sales world people fail all the time, is they're so into the money right now. And it's, people fail in life all the time because of that, is they want that instant gratification. I'm the first, like, I'm the most impatient human you'll meet. I want it all yesterday, but it's also, I know the pathway that all great things take time. And it's like, when you're doing that on the sales side and you're taking care of people, you're being honest with them, and you do that from every position of a business, I feel that the outcome is, no matter what happens, the outcome is going to be the way it's supposed to be. So sometimes it's, I don't know what that looks like, but as long as we do the right thing the whole entire time, whatever that outcome is will be deemed correct. So we put in the work, we do everything, we do the right thing. I always feel like our outcome's going to be exactly what it needs to be. So I think the more people that do that, I think that they put money before things. They put in business. When I focused on money, the front side was the hardest business ever was.
Yeah.
When I finally put money aside, I was like, I'm just going to do what I'm passionate about and help people and do what I need to be doing as a person. It was like business was like,
Mm-hmm.
and took off. So
I'm excited for January.
we have a
Forever.
lot of things to drop at the beginning of the year. That it's going to be something that January 1st of 25, we're going to put our stake in the ground. And I think a lot of people have looked, I think that's the day that we put our stake in. It's not a startup anymore. That we've made it through our phase. We've built the foundation over 24. We've built a sales side. We've put that in place, and we have been spending so much money on building out the right things to move forward with. It's going to be a movement that changes. That beginning of 25 will be something that will be the chapter that is written about the most.
We got to get a vlog camera.
Yeah, I got 2 vlog cameras for both you guys.
Fuck yeah.
You bought us both one?
Fuck
Well, I
yeah.
actually already had them.
You just were scared to let us use them.
Partially, yes.
Oh my
What?
gosh, I'm so happy right now.
Bree's been
What?
asking about this vlog thing, and also, yeah,
She was about to rat Brie out on something there.
Yeah,
I-
what
No,
was
no, no,
that?
no,
Yeah.
She's like, she's like,
no, never
yeah.
mind. We already got the
no,
cameras.
that's not what I was.
She was like,
gonna
we're on a good roll right now. Let's
I
not mess
wasn't
this
gonna
up.
rat you out. I don't think there's anything to rat you out
Oh.
about.
Oh yeah,
Is there?
good
I
save.
don't know.
Good save.
I don't. Do you think I should rat her out about something? Is there something I need to rat her out about?
Can we vlog our
Honest Abe.
weekends?
Honest Abe.
I don't know what she's fucking talking about. But
I don't know what I was talking about. I really wasn't trying to rat you out. No, I'm just kidding.
can we take him on the weekends?
What are you gonna vlog
Oh,
on the
I'm not
weekends?
gonna. What are we gonna vlog on? the
Oh.
Our
weekends?
nights out.
No.
Once a month I will go.
Hey,
out
we're
with you.
going out.
once a month.
Just kidding.
I don't
That's a
know if
bad
we can
idea.
go to a
Yeah, that's a
vlog
bad
anymore.
idea.
I'm not gonna vlog my nights out, you guys.
No. I'll use my
The camera
phone.
would break.
Yeah, the camera would break. I wouldn't trust myself.
Yeah,
Jesus.
they break their cameras the first weekend out.
We
Well-
broke the cameras.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Dane.
What were you gonna say?
Should we add some fun and do something fun before we have to go?
Yeah, how do we tidy this up fun?
I don't know.
I know I haven't been the most fun
Okay,
today
okay.
because
I got something.
You're all business.
I've been, my day was literally like, I squeezed this in and literally the 2-hour window, which I'll be walking straight off here into doing our taco review to right into my
Taco,
next
where you
meeting.
going?
I don't know. They're picking tacos up for me.
Oh.
Okay, we're gonna do
Let's make it quick. I got a
5.
small bladder.
We're gonna. I know. I have to pee too. 5 most likely to, and we have to go 1, 2, 3 and point.
Okay.
Okay.
Likely to what?
Most
Oh.
likely to trip and
Okay,
fall down
okay,
the
yeah.
bus stairs.
Yeah.
Wow,
Yeah,
guys, this is
Emma.
cute. We were pointing at other people.
I feel like we had
that
to
wasn't
say.
even, we weren't even doing it yet.
I
Oh.
feel yeah.
Is
That's
that a
practice.
test run?
I feel
Yeah.
like we have to like say for people that are listening, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah.
Okay. Most likely to get an embarrassing tattoo. Darby.
Brie.
Bree.
Bree.
Okay.
Bree's like, I got this one. He's gonna get it.
Okay. Most likely to lock themselves out of the house.
Brie.
Emma.
One time.
Oh, she's already done it?
Yeah, she locked
You
me
guys.
in.
Did you not hear the story when we were making the trucks? You did.
Making the trucks.
For our
Oh,
Halloween costumes?
No. I had a few drinks when you guys arrived.
Did you?
Did I?
I'm shocked. I'll give you the really Cliff Notes version, but we made the trucks. Like, we spray painted them. They were, you might not have been able to tell, but they were handmade. And so.
Oh, they looked like they were
Sorry.
purchased.
Yeah.
Wait, you
So.
didn't buy those?
We made them.
Kidding?
Yeah, they didn't know. We made them, guys. And so we had made them in like, it was a windy day and it was about to storm the tornado day. And so first, I'm sorry, now I'm giving you a long version, but first we found out if you guys ever want to do something fun with your kids, get a big box on a windy day and it will blow you around everywhere.
It's like a kite.
It's so
It's
fun.
like an arm kite.
And it was an accidental situation.
It's like
So
sticking your arm out the window.
It's so much better. So we spray painted them and all this stuff, and we had cut them and done the whole thing. And I'm like, okay, we need to pick up and go throw this stuff away. And Bree's like, my phone's dead. And I'm like, mine's at like 1%. So neither of us bring our phones. We're like, we'll just run out really quick and then run back. And it's pouring rain at this point because the storm had started. So we grabbed the trash, and I'm like, okay, the recycling bin's right there. Ready? Go. We open the door. We sprint out, throw the stuff. I look at Bree. I go, I left my keys. And we're standing there, and it's pouring rain on us. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
We neither have our phones, neither of us. And all of a sudden, I'm like, what do we? Lightning goes off. I'm like, is this freaking for real?
So we had to run all the way to the front, and then we finally made it.
Quite the dynamic duo.
It was just a stupid.
We'll vlog it next time.
Yeah, perfect.
Okay, most likely to stack it on a night out.
What does that mean?
Like money. Stack it.
Yeah, next question.
Dane,
that
for
was a bad
sure.
one.
No? No? You don't think so? Okay.
I've got a little careless on some money out in some nights. But.
Happens to the best of us.
This might be a good one. Most likely to have the most children.
Oh,
Totally Darby.
Yeah. Darby.
sheesh. You guys haven't had more than 2?
We don't have any right now.
Yeah, this is in this crew.
Most likely to go to space.
Bree.
Bree's like, I go to space every night. Every night. I was in space last night.
Actually, I wasn't, and I stayed up.
Hey,
all
I
night.
did watch my TV show the other 2 nights ago on my Apple Vision Pros on the moon.
Oh.
Sheesh.
So it's probably
First
Dane.
man on the moon.
Dane's going to space.
Call me Neil Armstrong.
Okay, last one. Most likely to get away with murder.
Oof.
This is a kind of a good one. I feel like Dane. Dane's got the brains.
I was going to say Emma.
Ooh, Emma is strategic.
Thank you. Why do you think me?
You just have a very demeanor that I don't know sometimes if you're serious or not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she
Really?
can,
Sometimes like she'll
she
say
can keep
something.
a
I'm like,
secret too.
is she
I can't keep
is
a
she
secret.
messing with me or is she being serious or like?
What did
Mhm.
I say that sparked that?
I don't know, it's happened quite a few times that you'll say something. I'm like, maybe she's joking with me.
Yeah.
Or
In your
maybe
head,
she's
you don't.
serious.
You can't even focus on what she's saying. You're like, is she serious?
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe I have murdered someone.
Yeah.
Guess you'll never know.
We won't.
So
I
Emma,
haven't.
Well, I guess we're ending the podcast on knowing that.
Yep.
Emma
Emma has
the
not
Emma's
murdered
word,
someone.
She said she has murdered anyone.
That's what they all say.
But I do think that moving forward, we're going to try to start double up the podcast, have a couple episodes drop each week.
Mhm.
So we can do one from here, we can do one from the house. And
I think Cameron died anyway.
Great.
Oh,
For real.
dang. When that one die? Is that one still running? Yeah. Yeah. Hey, we're going to do a few more of these in the bus. So
Yeah.
That's M3 Podcast. Take us out, Bree.
Peace.
Peace.
Thanks for listening to the M3 Podcast. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss the next episode. Want to learn more? Check us out on Instagram at Moss Marketing Group, on Facebook at Moss Marketing 58, or on our website at mossmarketinggroup.com.